Arsenal has waited 22 years to win the Premier League, and now they have another chance to start their title defense with another trophy. But standing in their way is Man City, and of course, there's no Pep Guardiola on the touchline this time. It's a new manager in Enzo Maresca. His first competitive game with the citizens, starting life after Guardiola. This is your Community Shield match preview. Welcome back to All Over Arsenal. And after the long wait, after all the preseason games that we've played so far, it's time for the real business, guys. It's time for the Community Shield. And we know what that means, people. That after the Community Shield is over, by this same time next week, we are going to be hosting Coventry City in the very first Premier League game of the season. We're basically going to start our defense of our title, a title that took us 22 damn years to win, which is quite a long while. I've been an Arsenal fan since 1997. The first title they ever won when I was a fan was in 98 under Arsene Wenger. Then, of course, 99 we came really close, but of course, Man United did what they did, and Shida Kemba, Ryan Giggs scoring against us in the FA Cup semi-finals. In the league, we had a couple of opportunities that we wasted. Oh, we have Jordan in the chat. Good to have you, bro. Welcome. So we had a couple of times we wasted chances in the 98-99 season. Then in 99, 2000, 2001, we finished second 3 times in a row. In 2002, 2002, we now won the league. We did the double this time. A league and cup double. And of course, if you can look at the picture at the top, that one there, that Arsene Wenger carried the double,
Hello.
Whoa. We have Jaido in the chat.
Hello. How you guys doing?
Yes, sir. And we also have the GOAT himself, TG. It's the full crew, man. How you guys doing?
Yo, big up, guys. How we doing?
Awesome.
Good.
Good to have you guys, man. Good to have you guys. So I was just talking about, how since I've been a national fan since 1997, and the first one I ever won was the 98 double by Arsene Wenger, and of course, Man United won 3 in a row. Then 2002, we won it again. The Man United won it in 2003. Then 2004, we won it again. And at that point in time, as Arsenal fans, it's all about us versus Ferguson, right? It just seemed like, okay, it's either Arsenal is going to win it or Man is going to win it. But guess when we won the Premier League again after that time, man? 22 damn years.
22
Like,
years after.
Whoa, jeez. So I'll just start with you, Josh. How does it feel going into this campaign as the defending Premier League champions?
Incredible, man. I've never had the feeling before because I was born in 2007, guys, believe it or not. So this is my first title I've ever seen Arsenal win. This is my first experience of it. And yeah, man, I was lucky enough to be at the parade as well. And it's just incredible feeling, man. Incredible feeling. We've waited so long. Of course, the last 4 seasons, coming so close as well. Second place finishes. And we're like, are we ever going to do it again? Because it was so getting that close every single, and something which not fall through for us and we wouldn't go our way. But finally it happened, man. And it feels good. Obviously, we have the history there with the league titles as it is. We won plenty before. But it's been too long for Arsenal Football Club, man. And finally, a long process, of course, of waiting, but it's worth it, man, because we go again. And Arteta's got a chance to make history, guys, because in the Premier League, I don't think an Arsenal side has gone back-to-back to retain it, have they? I think the only team to do it was Manchester United, was Mourinho with, I think, obviously Chelsea, with and of course Pep Guardiola at Manchester City. They're the only 3 teams to do it. So we've got a big opportunity to make history, man.
I
for
agree. I
Arteta. So
agree.
yeah.
So, Genoise, how long have you been an Arsenal fan?
How long? How long? 90. It's 96? It's
Okay, so great.
96.
So
Some
that
years
means
before the canoe rain and all that, though.
okay, awesome. So that means that you have been through the times when we were this close to winning and something always happened. So I want to take you back all the way to 2007. That's when Josh was born, where we had that time when we were leading. Then Eduardo da Silva had that terrible injury. Then, of course, we had the draws against Birmingham City, Middlesbrough. William Gallas was sitting in the middle of the pitch. Then when we played Man United, Owen Hargreaves played that free kick and we're out. We had a midfield of Fabregas, Flamini, Rosiski, and Hleb. And of course, had Adebayo and Van Persie in attack. Did you ever think that that team would have lost that league title? Especially with the way we were going so far and when the season progressed.
Okay, at that time, for me, it was Wenger time, right? It was
Uh-huh.
Wenger time, and with due respect, Wenger for me, he was very good, but I didn't see any particular identity at some point that we can go into a game, then we'll be confident that we're going to win the game. So he's always been up and down for a while. He's been up and down. Yeah, we can say we're struggling with procurements too at that point because most
Yeah,
of the
true.
time we were
We're
selling our
selling off
best
our big
players.
play. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember.
we're selling our best players, bringing people like Gallas and all those guys in. So for me, it's for the love of the club. I will always follow through thick and thin. So at that point, I won't lie to you, that kind of confidence during the season to say we're going to win is usually not strong. Is usually not strong because we have the midfield then, but Wenger's teams, right, behind at the back, sometimes
Yeah.
it's like an accident can happen anytime.
Mm-hmm.
There was
Mm-hmm.
no, you can't compare to this Arteta era where
True. True.
okay, there must be one silly mistake before we throw it open.
Yeah.
We
Us.
restrict people from taking shots at goal. Then it wasn't like that. We used to go gongo. We go back and forth.
Yeah.
They score. So there was no identity. At that time, you can't have confidence and say you want to win the league because you
True.
win the league by being solid at the back.
True. True. Okay. So, Josh, let me come back to you. Being a recent Arsenal fan, you see that Teta have three challenges that went off the rails because of Man City. Obviously, the one in 2023 was a bit surprising. Bear in mind that we just came from fifth place in 21-22. So I can say, okay, maybe it was a bit surprised about that. But 23-24, when we signed Declan Rice, Timber, and Kai Havertz, that looked like the campaign. So we went to that one weather training in Dubai, where we won all those games up until the Aston Villa moment. So from the run we had in January, right, up until when, of course, we lost against Aston Villa and Man City came above us, did you feel that they would have actually usurped us to win the league, or do you think we were confident enough to do what was required of us at that point in time?
In the 24 season,
Yeah.
when we finished second again that season, going into
Mm-hmm.
it was honestly at a point where I had a lot of doubt because, as I said a bit earlier on, it was we would be so consistent in that second season, for example, and the signings of the Declan Rices, as you mentioned, really elevated us and took us to a complete another level. Where even Raya in goal when he first, when we signed him in that season as well, I think that's
Yeah.
been an incredible addition. But at that time, it was a Villa game, that season, as you mentioned there, where it was like, yeah, we throw it away after having because we was very consistent that season. Like, let's not forget we were scoring goals in that season. The
Mm-hmm.
5-0 against Burnley, 6-0 against Sheffield United, 6-0. No, sorry, 5-0 against West Ham. I think
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were just scoring goals for fun. We was actually playing some good football as well, and we was all like, yeah, this is gonna be it. But again, it was that one game against Villa where everything went wrong, and then I was just sitting there. That's where I had my question marks on the manager because he's to get us back up there, incredible. But I always had my question mark around him because whenever pressure was on for this side, when it came to mentality, in those seasons we couldn't get over the line. So then, and then you go into the next season after that where we completely drop off for injuries,
Mm-hmm.
people could say, but it's more the Champions League where we got to the semi-final, didn't we, against PSG, and
Yeah.
we came fell short in that one. And then finally, of course, last season, finally, I think I still have my doubts in that season. I think we remember the Bournemouth game, you know, that one where we lost 2-1. We was like, oh, here we go, it's happening again, you know. But listen, from that game, we picked ourselves up and we put our head down, and then we got that big West Ham away win, you know, at London Stadium. And then
after
review, yes, yeah, like, we all remember that one. So
biggest review.
I'm just so happy that you know, we finally got over the line, man. Finally, we Premier League champions, bro.
Awesome. So Jude, who were the guys that stood out for you last season in our title-winning campaign? Like, can you give me like 5 players that you could say, okay, they were basically responsible for getting this trophy after 22 years for us?
That's a very simple question, because number one is Declan, man.
Yeah.
That guy is a powerhouse. You can see sometimes he's run himself ragged to the ground. He will still cope. Without Declan in that team, would have been in trouble. That's right. Sure. Then who else would I say? The Magic Man, Raya.
Yeah, for sure. My player of the season, for sure.
Raya. Agility Raya. That's the name I gave him last season, because I sometimes some saves you don't just understand. He just pulls it out.
Yeah.
It's like magic. So without him, would have been very, very hectic. Now, there are some players that you would think, oh, because they're always on the bench. Martinelli, you know, okay, we're looking at the league, and I'm talking about, let's say, the complete season.
Mm-hmm.
Martinelli coming from the bench, it was always magic for us, okay? Saka, I don't know if I can include Saka in this lineup, you know, because it was kind of Jekyll and Hyde. He was injured, he was struggling.
Mm-hmm.
No, I wouldn't want to put Saka into this. But our Belgian, you have to count him in.
Yeah, Mr. Clutch, yeah.
Our Belgian was terrific.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was terrific. Leo was there. Then if I'm not going to pull out the last person, I don't know. I'll just have to say Gabby.
Gabby, yeah.
Gabby, the energy, the leadership, it's extreme, because sometimes he doesn't want to lose at all. You just see that just vibrates with him, and with that kind of confidence, he rubs off on the back four, particularly his partner Saliba. Where when Gabby is strong, you see the two of them, they complement each other. I doubt it if somebody else will be able to play with them. There's a way they complement each other. Sometimes we think, oh, Gabby's not good enough. Oh, sometimes we say Willow is always having all these mistakes. But when they are playing together, I think there's this match that I can't remember that match. I think it's the last. I want you guys to help me. I think it's like the second to the last, where Willow did one funny header. It was a mistake. I think was it Bournemouth?
No, it was West Ham. It
was West Ham.
Yeah, that Gabby had a mad block.
Yeah, West Ham. And the West Ham guy was free, and I don't know where Gabby just came from.
Yeah.
And just allowed the guy through all his missteps and couldn't score. So those two, we need to give it to them. But Gabby for me, I think those 5, I would any day.
Okay. So Josh, I'll come back to you the same question, but I'm going to twist it. Who are the 5 players you think that need to really improve this season that were not good enough for the standards you expect of them last season?
Oh, that's a good question, man. Players you need to improve from last season.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right, let me go through the team quickly. Well, obviously we know about Kepa in goal. I think I'm sorry, I've got to say him first, man. Like
FA Cup.
Yeah, man. That League Cup final against City when he played him in goal. That's on Arteta, man. You can't do that ever again, bro. Yeah, I know he'll learn from that going into next season, but obviously, and we've seen the preseason. Kepa, he's looking very, very shaky, man. So
true, man.
I'll throw him in there straight away. In terms of the defenders, I think all the defenders were really solid. Actually, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean, I ain't got a problem. No, none of the defenders really, at all. Midfielders, Odegaard. Odegaard for
Yeah.
me needs to have a big improvement next season. Now,
Yeah.
he had a very good game against West Ham, and that mattered massively because he set up the Trossard goal, and he
Yeah.
had a few glimpses against Brightons and like Olympiacos. I remember those games stand out to me. But over the course of the season, he wasn't consistent enough. And I get he's been suffering with injuries and things like this. But you're Arsenal captain, you know, now it's time. This is your season, man. And he looked sharp in pre-season, so I'll throw him in there. Anyone else? Yeah, Odegaard. Bro, well, I can take your pick out the attackers, man, because I think that's one of our most weakest points last season.
True.
You know, Trossard ain't here anymore, but he was clutch off the bench, got some important goals. But I could throw Saka in there for improvement because he's not been at his level. Noni Madueke, again, big improvement.
Yeah.
Can't really say Gabriel Jesus because the guy he's leaving and he's again injury.
Yeah.
He played. Anyone else? Martinelli. That's the one I need to. Yeah, Martinelli, bro. 1 Premier League goal.
In 30 games, man.
Premier League alone, awful. Champions League, I'll give credit in the Champions League. He played a lot better in the Champions League, guys.
Yeah.
But 1 Premier League goal as your starting left winner, nah. Big improvement, either. So I'll say those players, man.
Awesome. All right. So obviously you can't have a community shield without having your opponents. You know, Arsenal won the league, but Man City won the FA Cup. So Jaido, you know, last season's FA Cup was a bit strange in the sense that we did not play any big Premier League team. Our first game was against Portsmouth, where we smashed them 4-1. Then we played Wigan. Then we played Mansfield Town. Then we played Southampton, and we got eliminated. So how disappointed were you with our FA Cup campaign? Being in mind that we didn't even play any big team, and for some reason we crashed out, especially after the error that happened in the League Cup just a week earlier. So how
we crashed out to, was it what's the name of that?
Southampton?
Yes,
Southampton.
Yeah, it was Southampton, and I think they lost to City immediately. Was it 2-1?
Yeah, in the semis, yeah.
Yeah, so that match was disappointing because I thought we had enough on the field. I know he rested some players. At that time, I won't lie to you, that was when we started wobbling a bit. You know, the belief, we started losing belief. There were some funny losses that came into it. Was that before or after the Bournemouth loss?
No, it was before the Bournemouth loss. So it was
it
was we lost the League Cup, then we lost this one, then we now lost to Bournemouth.
Yeah, so it was that period where it was a very patchy period, and I won't lie. I wanted. You know, we were talking about quadruple. I was I know.
Oh my days!
I know it was sounding a bit kind of huge, kind of dreams, but I was on for it. I was like, let's play everything, let's do it. But after we lost to Southampton, then we had like that 2 loss. I won't lie to you. At some point, I was like, guys, just focus on the Premier League because there is no how. If we just, I can't imagine the sensibilities if we had lost the Premier League last year.
Man,
It would have been a tough pill to swallow, really, because you know, all those second fiddle for like 3 years. Then, you know, the mentality question when we get to April, you know, there was that damning stats I heard in April. I heard that starts in church. A pastor said, Arsenal hasn't won. Is there any match in April?
No, I reckon April was horrible, man.
Prior to this April, Arsenal hasn't won any match in April for the last 2-3 seasons. So I was like, what? In fact, I wanted to go and Google it, but then, you know, we're going through the storm. And I'm glad we did it. I won't lie, we didn't go through the FA Cup, but I think the Premier League was it was enough consolation for everything we did last season. So if you ask me, I'll say yes, we could have gone all the way, but yeah, you win some and you lose some. Definitely.
Okay, so Josh, this FA Cup was actually Pep Guardiola's fault. He had won it in 2018. Won it in 2022, won it in 2025, and of course, you know, 2024. And this was basically one of the 20 trophies that he amassed while playing at Man City. So in the 10 years I was there, how massive was it for the club, and how happy are you that he's no longer in that club?
Well, I'm buzzing as an Arsenal fan that he's no longer there. But big respect to him because I think he's an all-timer. that
Yeah.
the Premier League's ever seen. I think he's up there with the Mourinho's, the Sir Alex's, the Wenger's. He's got to be in that bracket. You know, what he's done at Man City is remarkable. And yeah, I mean, you just listed out all the trophies. Serial winner, and he's going to be he's irreplaceable. Like, you ain't replacing Pep Guardiola. Enzo is a decent manager. I think he's proved that he can do well at Leicester, got them promoted and won them that. And then even Chelsea, a bit harsh, I thought, hard done by. I thought he played some all right football with them. Also, he won them the European Cup and well, the conference and the Club World Cup as well, didn't he? So, you know, he's a good manager, but it's Pep Guardiola, man. As I said, an all-timer, and one for us that I think psychologically, I'm happy that we beat him finally. Yeah. I think that's a big thing because he was always getting one over us, and I mean, even last season when we played him 3 times last season. You know, the 2 Premier League games, 1-1 draw. The Carabao Cup final, he beat us. The Etihad game, he beat us. So we actually didn't beat Man City in the games. Thankfully, for the league, it didn't matter because we won the league and they slipped up.
Yeah. But Everton and Bournemouth, man.
Thank you to, yeah. Kudos to them teams. But, you know, having Pep there is just, he was a nightmare, you know, like to compete with because he was so good, man. He changed his ways at times as well. He adapted at times, and yeah, just a icon, man. One that we're going to remember in the history, and he'll be a miss for the Premier League in general, but not a miss for Arsenal fans because I'm kind of relieved that he's gone.
Awesome. You know, so Jude, let's talk about Maresca. You know, now he's going to take on his first official match for them against us in the Community Shield. He has inherited an elite squad, but, you know, he went out there and smashed £260 million for Elliot Anderson. He basically destroyed the market as we know it, because that was the first move that just made everyone just go crazy, you know. So, have you been able to pay attention to their preseason games? What do you think about his approach at Man City, and where do you think he can do? Do you think he's going to really challenge for the title? Do you think he's going to take them to a new level? Because obviously replacing a manager like Pep is no mean feat. What's your take on him in general as a person, and where do you feel he can take the squad to?
Enzo. You know, it's a big question. Can he fill in those boots of Pep? It's a tough question. In fact, I think if I'm going to ask that question, I would say, can Maresca successfully evolve Guardiola's football, or is he going to destroy it? That's the first question. But the thing is, we need to cut him some slacks. I don't think he's new to that team.
Yeah,
he's been with Pep for a while, understudying him at that point. So it's not like he's coming to a new terrain exactly.
Yeah, but, fair point.
Yeah, but there's still some buts. You know, for me, I want to judge him from when he was in Cobhams. I'm not sure if I could see anything he did in Chelsea with due respect. I know they won the club, but you see them the next match, there was no identity. He was buying players like a kid in a candy store. There were just a lot of people coming in and out, no sense of positioning, no sense of direction. I wouldn't lie to you. I thought, even though Chelsea management is another story, I don't know why he stayed that long, because he was just going up and down. There was no identity. He had so much to spend, and there was nothing that was coming out for me. I didn't see a team that was stable to say they will start involving sustainably. I didn't see that in Chelsea. So that's why there's a big question in what is he going to do. Although, yeah, Sunday match is meant to be Community Shield, right? But it's not really Community Shield. The rivalry is there. We're going to see City come out first time in a competitive match. It's going to be a competitive match. The last 5 matches, I think they've won 2. We only won 1. We drew 2. But all the head-to-head matches that we had last year, they beat us.
Yeah.
Even though we won the league. So there's still that psychological question that, can we go through these guys? Now, the second point now is just the fact that Pep is no more there. Longevity, if you tell me now to throw cards on the floor and say, what do they do in long term? With Maresca, it's in question on paper. Because for what I saw in Chelsea, I didn't see somebody that was steady, ready to drive a team with that kind of quality. He had so much quality, he didn't know how to apply it. I think application for him in Chelsea was not there. They were getting through some few games. They'll lose 3, they'll come back to 2. You can see that he wasn't driving any process. You can't compare to what Arteta was doing. So
Yeah.
right now, it's just that City is City. You're not, no matter the coach that you bring in. That team has been together. Pep rebuilt that team again last season. He rebuilt that team again. You have to
Yeah.
give it to Pep. He rebuilt that team because there was a point they were becoming like, what's going on? They were losing here and there. Their defense was. Then he brought in the brother from Ghana. He brought in someone from
McGahey, Crystal
yeah, and
Palace.
he just
Semenyo,
gave from the
yeah.
back.
Yeah.
He just changed it, and he was always playing his 4-3-3, but at some point I think he started doing like some 4-1-3-1. He changed it a bit. I like him very much because he can change things
Yeah.
quickly. I don't know if Maresca has that kind of acumen, and I wish them luck. But for me, on paper, longevity, I don't see Maresca pulling what Pep has done for years there. But Community Cup, we are all excited. I'm sure nobody expects any other curtain raiser like this match
Yeah.
because everybody affiliated with EPL, FPL. We are all waiting for this match. so
Yeah, I agree.
so let's see how it goes. But Maresca, I wish him the best of luck. Really.
Okay, so Josh, do you want to take a stab at the same question? Thoughts on Maresca and taking over from Pep, how he can fill his boots?
Well, one thing's for certain is, City, they're going to have their core will be there. Now, I know they're losing. If they lose Rodri, for example, which most likely is going to happen to Barcelona, that is huge. I know he's not been the same since injury, but he's still. You watch him in the World Cup player of the tournament, right? He's getting back to his best. You lose your most important player, that'll play an effect. But in the window, they're going to go Elliot Anderson, who is done at Forest, been brilliant at Forest. So let's see what he does. Can he take that step up to the next level? Big up Don, by the way. Good to see you, man.
Evening, Josh.
This feels a bit like deja vu, Dom. We're doing it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Look, for me, on Maresca, it's like Man City. They have their core there still with the Haalands, as you mentioned earlier. With they brought in, they did the business in the January window with the Semenyos, with the Gahey's as well, who came in. So they've still got Doku as well. They got that core, and then they're adding as well with Anderson, potentially Bawadi as well, coming in from obviously Lille. So this is what Man City will do. But in terms of, I sort of echo what I was saying about Maresca earlier, right? Is he's, as Jay said, about he's been with Pep, right? He sat next to Pep for very similar to Arteta, but then he's gone and got that experience before managing Man City. He's gone to Leicester City. He's got them promoted. He won them the title, and then he got that big move to Chelsea, where I think he won the 2 trophies there. And I heard a lot of Chelsea. I don't know inside outs what happened at Chelsea, but correct me if I'm wrong. I heard a lot of Chelsea fans saying that he didn't get what he wanted, like the players that he wanted, because we know they spent a lot of money on young players, spent over $1 billion, and you've seen the mess that they're in Chelsea as it is now. Whether Alonso could take them out of that mess remains to be seen. But I think the way how he plays at times is, his identity and how he plays, I think could really work with City. But when you ask about Pep Guardiola, can he replace him? Well, as I said, bro, Pep's irreplaceable. He's one of a kind. So he could do a good job, and I think they'll be back up there with us. But not to the level what Pep did, because what Pep did was remarkable, man.
Awesome. All right, Dom, welcome. Just before I leave this slide, maybe we'll also get your take on this. We're basically asking how you feel about Maresca and if you can fill up Pep's boots. Bearing in mind that Pep was such a monster in the Premier League, if I'm making it very simple, 20 trophies in 10 seasons. So what's your take on that same issue?
Well, let's see how consistent I can be from last night, Josh?
Yeah, since you guys had the same match preview, yeah?
No, AT, thanks for having me on, and sorry to be late. I was coming straight from another stream with Tony. Hopefully a couple of people have transitioned across. I forget what it's supposed to be called, but that'll do. Look, as I think Josh summed it up perfectly there, right? Replacing Pep is impossible. There's only one person I know that can do it, and unfortunately, they didn't give me the job. So, but no, I mean, look, Manchester City still a good team. Maresca is a good manager. I think he did a good job at Chelsea, and then as Josh said, he wasn't getting the players. He was interference by all accounts on sort of team selections or what have you, and he walked. And I think partly he walked, and you know, there's no evidence for this beyond the fact that Manchester City agreed to randomly pay Chelsea compensation, which suggests there's some truth to this, that he basically resigned to take this job, and it was done,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
back in
yeah,
November,
yeah. I
December.
feel that time in December when he went for that interview, I think it was very clear that he was going to get the job, and Chelsea were very angry about it.
Yeah, exactly, and understandably so. But I think he did a good job at Chelsea, who you know are you know have had major issues there. So I think he will come into a more stable club at City and will do well. The issue he's got is a couple fold really. One is you're replacing Pep Guardiola, and we've seen historically how difficult that is to do. You know, Emery, a good manager replacing Wenger, struggled, and Arsenal weren't brilliant, by the way, at that time. Moyes, Ferguson, you know, or there's loads of other examples across the piece, but there's also sort of, you know, stepping up, you know, a level with all that pressure could be something. But also City are in flux. You know, they've had a lot of defensive changes in the last 18 months or so. That defense isn't settled. They might not have bought in defenders this summer, but it's still not totally settled. But their midfield is entirely new. They've lost Silva. They're losing Rodri, I think. You know, lots of changes in there. You know, that could be very, very interesting to see how they respond to that. They've lost Reinders as well. I know it didn't work out, but again, that's 3 central midfield changes, and we know how important in the Premier League in particular a solid defense central midfield is. So he's going to have some issues to work with. But I think I was saying this to Josh last night. I think it's between them and Arsenal for the league this season because of the quality of the squad, the know-how in the squad, but also I think Maresca is a good manager.
Awesome. So let's go to Arteta's press conference, Jide. You know, I'll just take a couple of words he's mentioned now. I would like to get your take on it. One of them was about Ethan Nwaneri, where he said that he wants Nwaneri to be in the team, but in the long term, what's best for the player? Ethan needs to play football, and if he stays here, it's because we can guarantee that he can have this minutes. Otherwise, it's just something that is not good for anybody, I think. Throughout this summer, one area has been linked with a move out of Arsenal. So you as an Arsenal fan, seeing his trajectory, you know, 24-25, he came on when Saka got injured, played loads of games for us. Last season, he went on loan to Marseille. It didn't work out. So my question to you is this. What's your honest take on the Nwaneri situation? Do you think we need to just cut our losses and sell him? Or do you think we need to send him out on loan to maybe a Premier League team for 12 months and access him again at the end of the campaign? Or do you think we should keep him? Bearing in mind that we have so many numbers in midfield.
Okay, that's a very tough take, and I would like to express it from both sides of the coin. As an Arsenal player, that Nwaneri is, and Arsenal as a team, because the talent is there. I think it's just with us at the wrong time when we have so much packed in the midfield. You know, there are no guarantees if he stays. I'm sure that's what Arteta is just trying to say, that there are no guarantees if he stays. And what does the player want? At this point, if I'm Arsenal, what I can push is go out for another loan. Trust me, that's what I want. I don't want to sell that player yet. I don't want to sell him yet. Put him on a loan, and let's see how the season evolves to next season. Because that's a very young talent that you don't want to just throw away. That's from the Arsenal viewpoint. But from the player's viewpoint, every player wants to play. Yeah, you know, he's going to be under pressure from his manager, his own personal manager. You have to make this move, you have to make that move. So it's tough. It's a very tough decision to make at this time. I'm sure Arsenal won't want to sell him at this point. I don't think it's the best move to sell him. The best move will let him go for loan, and we'll watch his development. But right now, what does the player want? I doubt it if the player wants to go out for another loan. Have you seen him the mid-season? He's so hungry. I've seen a lot of matches. I've seen how hungry he goes, physically, back and forth. He's playing like somebody that that has been groomed very well last season. But hey, I don't even think he's top 4 right now in the midfield.
Yeah, yeah.
He's not. He's not. It's unfair. There's nothing we can do about that. He's not. It's not top 4. So for me, for the player, I'll just say let him go look for another team right now. But for Arsenal, let's send him out on loan. That's the viewpoint.
Okay, awesome. So, Josh, still sticking with the transfer window, he was asked about our links to Jairo Kwanzaa and Ezri Konza. And he said, I'm not going to talk about any individuals, obviously. What I can tell you the ambition of the club. We want to improve the team. We want to evolve the squad, and the usual stuff he keeps saying. So, in terms of evolving the squad, like, do the names Kwanzaa, Konsa, did they make you feel like the way we felt like when we were linked with Vinicius? Or do you think we need to do something really serious in that position? Bear in mind that Saliba is going to be out in maybe December. I know when he comes back, he's going to be irregular again. So what's your own take on that defensive situation? Do you think we need to go and get someone that want to play all the way to December and be okay staying on the bench? Or do you think we should get a youngster? Or do you think we should propose someone from the academy? Like that centre-back dilemma that we are having right now. If you are Arteta, what will you do?
I think it'd be sensible to go and get this type of defender. And if you look at the ones that we're all looking at, you mentioned Konza. I need to be careful don't get the names twisted up. You look at
Josh, this made me and Tony laugh because I said Konza and Kwanzaa. Not to be confused with Qantas Airlines, but it was making him laugh earlier.
Yes, but I mean, if you look at both, those two there, and you look at, there's been little links with Kunde, the Aleti guy, Pubil, I think his name is. If you look at all their profiles, I think centre back and right back, I think they can cover both. All 4 of them really well. So I think this is sensible. I look at Konza, I rate very highly. I have done it, for Villa for many seasons now. He's a bit older, and it's the price for me though, which £60 million. It's like I don't think Arsenal are going to do that. Hence why I think the Quensa news came out today as an alternative option. And if you look at the Leverkusen, like what Leverkusen want is. They want a bit more, I think, what they paid for him, but I think they're saying maybe 38, 40, around that bracket there.
43 million was what their asking price is, but, we know that Arsenal tend to...
We can negotiate it down, exactly that. So I think for that price tag, you look at a guy like Quensa, right? I think, 23 years of age, right? Been in the Premier with Liverpool already, and I don't think he was too bad at... From what I remember of him, I don't think he was too bad at Liverpool. Now, I think the thing is his decision making at times. I've heard this is a thing that he needs to work on.
A bit rash,
a bit rash, and I think he played in the World Cup, didn't he? Did he get sent off in the World Cup?
Yeah, he did against Congo.
Yeah, that was right. So those are
that bad tackle.
Yeah, I remember that now. So those are the things there that he's working on his game a little bit. But I think for 23 years of age, I think it'd be a sensible signing, man. I really do. I think it's an area that we have to go and get. We do have players like Mosquera. I think probably start alongside Gabriel, who's definitely good enough. He proved that in the Champions League final, for example, playing right back. He's proved that across the whole season. And then you have obviously Timber's still out for quite a while. So, and then, we know about Ben White, who can play centre back as well. But then the problem is, you have Ben White shifting centre back, then it's a right back situation that you need to sort out. But then if you get Quenza in, then, you can play him at right back, for certain games. You can play him as that centre back as well. And even Mosquera can play right back as well. So we have options. And if you even want to go more bold, again, I think it'd be a bit too much because he's 16. But look at someone like Marley Salmon I'm not saying play week in, week out, but maybe that opens a door for him for some certain games because he's looked flawless in pre-season. He looked flawless last season when he played in the FA Cup games, for example.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a bit of pressure put on the kids, and being 16 years of age, we got to manage these players' minutes. But I think have the door open for him just for certain games. Maybe he can step in, whether it's come off the bench or wherever it may be, because I think he's certainly proved the point in my opinion. So I think we have to go and get a defender, but the priority for me has got to be the attack, man. It's got to be
Yeah.
that attack. And I don't know if you're going to ask Dom about this, or I don't know if you're going to talk about the quote that he said. He was just on set speaking about we want to show ambition or something today, which I picked up on, and I was like, yeah, I mean, look, I rate the ambition with the Vinny Jr. situation. That shows that we're gonna go big, but now let's go big. I mean, let's talk about Osherman. Okay, let's go big. That's a statement signing for me. That's a top one of the best nines out there, in my opinion. Clinical, right? Or on the left hand side, you got Kenan Yildiz at Juventus, for example. Knock on
Yeah.
Juventus door. That's for me showing ambition for the attack, man.
Yeah, or Luis Diaz. That would be awesome. Okay, so the final take on his press conference, Dom, was speaking about consistency and on the likes of Saka and Odegaard. What's your take on that? Do you think that they need to turn on a new leaf this campaign? Bearing in mind now that we have people breathing down their necks to take their place in the squad?
Look, it's always. I mean, just really quickly, just on what Josh was saying, I agree entirely with the sort of profile we're looking at there. Very interesting. It's sort of right back, right centre back position. And I think that maybe suggests a bit more concerned about Timber than maybe Arteta was letting on in his comments today. But I agree. It's not where you go and spend the big money. It's where you look for the best value for money signing. And I think Pubil is that actually. Of all the players linked today, I'm a big Jean Martin fan, but he's been very quiet. But Pubil, I think, is a 35, 40 million pound player, and I think he's experienced. And I think he's the man I'd be after. But I don't think I'm going to be excited by whoever we bring in, but I think that's somewhat the point for all the reasons that Josh said. You need to bring in that extra player in that area with the injuries we got, and Miles Lewis-Skelly moving to midfield. And Salmon's been brilliant, but I don't think you can rely on him. In terms of a consistency point, no. And the reason, by the way, you can't rely on him is because he's 16, Salmon, not because he's terrible. I think he looks a real player. But on the consistency point, yeah, 100%. I mean, I think it's a meaningless quote in many ways because, of course, every manager wants their players to be consistent. But I think the point he's basically making really here is if players aren't consistent, I want to have the squad. That means if someone's not playing well, I can take them out. As we saw with Odegaard, he didn't always play last season because he wasn't playing well. I think he looks much better this pre-season and at the World Cup. I think that's encouraging. But basically, I think that's his point. If you're not playing consistently well, I want players that can come in and take your place. And Arsenal, by and large, have that. But I think that's why that left wing position is so vital, because I think it's the one area where
really lacked, yeah.
I think we've got two squad players, right, in Zorlis and Martinelli right now. And we need that clear starter. But I think that was basically the point Arteta was making. But I think it's a point that every manager would say and want, really, if asked that question. So I didn't really take too much from his comments there. It's coaches speak.
Awesome. Okay, Jude, so let's talk about our form and team news. Preseason hasn't really been as what we expected. We played in Girona, smashed them 4-1. Then we played against Real Betis, and Kepa was just all over the entire damn place. The Dortmund game, the same thing. The Como game, obviously, is slight improvement. But one thing to quickly note here, these 4 games, no clean sheets. So it's evident that going into the new campaign, we're going to start with Calafiori on the left, White on the right, Gabriel and Mosquera up until when we get a new centre-back. What's your confidence level of our defensive performances, especially with Saliba out for quite a long time? Do you think the way we play the preseason gives you some kind of concern? Or do you think you're just for minutes?
Okay, if you ask me honestly, I will tell you that our defense is not ready for the season. It's very, very honest and blunt truth. Because let's even start with availability. Saliba, we know he's out for a while. Jurien Timber, he's been out, he's back, he's out. So we don't even know the situation in there, right?
Yeah.
We don't even know because he's about to be back, then he's not. So we can say it's preseason. 3 against Betis, is it 3 against Dortmund, 1 against Como. We can say it's preseason, but the devil is in the details, really. For me, that defense, if you ask me, that defense is not ready for the season. Because, okay, now, Willow is not going to come back, definitely. Mosquera, he's a decent guy, but that means Mosquera and Gabi were one injury away from chaos.
Yeah, pretty much.
That central defense. We're just one injury away. One injury. If Gabi has And Gabby has played so much football to World Cup. Anything happens between Gabby and Mosquera, then we're in trouble. Now, the right wing has been questionable even throughout last season because Timber is here, White comes. White is also a little bit susceptible to a little bit tiny niggles here and there.
Yeah.
So for me, apart from the left back where we have
Nketiah,
and
Calafiori,
Calafiori, and we can even use
MLS.
MLS at some point, that defense is not ready for the season. For me, I thought by now we should have bought like two guys that I know. I don't want to mention names because two guys that I know can do central and can also do. For me, I think central and the right side we're struggling. We don't have to live in denial. We're struggling. Julian Timber is here or there. White we know would come in. White 2, 3, 4 games. Some niggles come in. Is out. Then we're not down to Mosquera. Come back here. Okay, who's going to go there centrally? So
Nketiah, I
that
guess.
defense, honestly, I'm just being very blunt. That defense is not ready for the season. Unless if we're living in denial, that defense is not ready for the season. We're just going to the season and hey, let's go. For me, if you tell me to use a word right now, that defense is in a makeshift position. That's what we're going to the season, and it's not good. Now the pedigree is different. We're no more second fiddle. We're champions. We're champions of England. We've been in Champions League, second, third. So we need to be hiring now with authority. We need to step into the season with authority, like the way Pep would do. When he has a need, he kills it and he starts to build. But now we have 5 days to the beginning of the season, and we have a makeshift defense. I'm just trying to. I don't want to live in denial. We have a makeshift defense right now, and we need to fix it.
Yeah, and it's quite surprising because if you think about last season, the season before that, it was because of all these injuries that we kind of derailed so far, right? But when Beta came on and bought those 8 players, they actually played a very key role in helping us, retain the title. But Josh, I'd like to speak to you about Christos Zolis.
Sorry, AT. Sorry, before you ask your Zolis question, I just have a
Mhm.
slightly different take to
So-
that one. So
Go
I
ahead.
think the whole team isn't quite ready for the season, rather than just the defence. And I don't
Okay.
think we're alone in that. I think a lot of the big teams will be in this position
Because the World Cup.
because players are coming back late from the World Cup and what have you. But I think Jay's right here that bringing in those defenders is going to be crucial, as Josh mentioned earlier. But I do think when you look at the pre-season, I do think, and Josh and I were talking about this yesterday, Raya's return, I think, is going to be huge behind him.
Whoa, yeah. Did you guys see his performance in just 45 minutes against
Yeah,
Como?
Exactly.
it was huge. But I also think, and I, by the way, Jay, I don't disagree with you at all here. I just think it's a slightly broader point to the one you were making. But I do think the defence also will be slightly better as well by a true six. We played a single pivot rather than a double pivot for large parts of pre-season. Now, I don't know if we're going to do that through the season. I suspect we're going to go back to the double pivot, but having a natural six, because Miles isn't really a single six.
Yeah.
He's
They,
a 6'8".
they overran him a lot in midfield, man.
Yeah, and I think that will help that defense. But I think Jay's right in terms of the I think the team isn't ready. So I think your underlying point is absolutely spot on. I just think it's a slightly wider one, and I think, but those two, Raya and the true six coming back, will help that defense. But you are right overall. But sorry, I just wanted to broaden that point.
No, that's fine, bro. Thanks. So, Josh, let's talk about Christos Zolis. Coming in from Club Brugge, he had 22 goals, 29 assists. There was this Gyökeres vibe. Gyökeres had 97 goals in 102 games, and it's very evident that when you come to the Premier League, it seems like the stats of the previous campaign in your previous club doesn't really matter because things will be a whole lot different. But in preseason so far, we have had 4 games he's played for us, and he has had a goal and 3 assists. If we eventually don't sign the marquee left winger we're looking for, are you confident and comfortable is Zolis being our main left winger?
But we shouldn't. The thing is, we shouldn't be having this conversation about. I get what you're saying though, because it seems a bit realistic that at the moment, we've got 2 weeks left of the window. It may be this may be a possibility. So I get where you're coming from, AT. But as I said, it shouldn't be like this. You know, when we first signed Zolis, I remember doing the videos on my channel, and there's people in the chat already dissing him, and no, but we always thought that he'd come in to, of course, a Trossard replacement. Trossard goes for Besiktas. He comes in, right, not as the main regular starter, you know, week in, week out, but he comes in, you know, he's still young, isn't he? It was for 34, whatever, I think, yeah, 34 million pound deal, you know, from had great numbers. I thought it was a very sensible deal and good signing overall. And but to sit there and now how it's changed to him being the main guy, this was never the plan. So
yeah.
I look at it. I think he's had a brilliant preseason. You know, he's really sharp, looks really promising, look really lively. I'm excited to see him. You know, don't get it twisted. Like, of course, it's going to be a big step up when it's different when you play Premier League. When we know how he's going to do. I want to really see him when we play up against teams who obviously sit deep and you know, when we play against low blocks, because I find that we've really struggled.
That would be the standard, man.
yeah, because I think that's something that we at times are too predictable, and we kind of don't have a plan B to break. And maybe the way I'm seeing him so far is he looks very unpredictable, and he's set piece as well, where the way he can cross the ball, he puts on the plate every time. So really good, technically gifted, and hopefully he can use some of the numbers, and you've got incredible numbers for him and for Club Brugge and in the Champions League as well. He can replicate that for Arsenal. But as I said, he shouldn't be the plan A. He shouldn't be the main guy. He has the potential. Don't get it twisted because of his age, but he shouldn't be the main guy. The aim for us had to be to get that left winner, to get a top left winner, and then Zolis is there as well.
Yeah, awesome. All right.
I agree, Josh. By the way, that's exactly right. I mean, I was saying earlier on a chat about Osherman, you know, and I that if I can bring in one attacking player this year, it's Alvarez over Osherman because he can go out to the left. Because I think that left winger is. I was asked to pick one. I was like, well, if I'm only allowed to bring in one player at all across the front line, and I've only got those two, it's Alvarez because he can play out on the left, because I think that left winger is so crucial and Osherman can't. Obviously, as a number 9, it's Osherman over Alvarez, no question, all day long. But Alvarez can go on that left side. I think it is that crucial. And right now, we've got squad players out on the left-hand side. Zolis, as you say, may well be that that long term, but right now we can't say that. And I think there are, you know, I'm all in on Yildiz on that left-hand side. I think that's a one. I think the thing that maybe stopped that deal would be either Arsenal don't rate him, but I don't think that's the case because they did look at him earlier this window. But it could be that he's got this injury that might require an operation. That might be the thing that stops that deal. But I think you've just got to get that left winger as a number 1 priority for the reasons Josh outlined there. I really do. It's so important.
Yeah, but speaking of left wingers, they're not really much in the market, you know, honestly, that can really improve us. Kawashikelia obviously is out of our reach. Luis Diaz just joined Bayern Munich. Rogers would have been nice. Vinicius would have been nice. Bakola is not it. So who are you really going to sign that's going to move the needle in that wing?
Well, I was talking about this again with Josh yesterday, but I think Zolis coming in. You've got Zolis and Eze are very much that Trossard type winger. So I do want an out-and-out winger, which is why I wasn't too worried about losing out on Rodgers. The disappointment of Rodgers was he was your public number 1 priority, and it's not a good look. I do think Barcola is a really good player. I think
140 mil.
But I was going to say, but not at 140 mil. Right? That's mental, absolutely insane money. And that's where I go to Yildiz. I think Yildiz is really exciting. He's 21. I think he's shown he's capable of playing in a top 5 league. Yes, Serie A after the Premier League is a step up, but I think he is used to playing those disciplined against those disciplined defenses. I think he's got pace. He's got skill. I really am. I'm quite happy if he has to have an op and we don't see him till November, and you get Yildiz. And I do think Arsenal have to get that left winger. It's the obvious one. Yes, you're probably going to your 3rd choice there after Vinicius and Morgan Rodgers. But I don't really see a massive drop between Rodgers and Yildiz. Rodgers, I think, hits the ground running quicker because he's Premier League experience. But Yildiz, I think, is that. He's the man. Nico Williams, I get, but he's inconsistent and with injuries.
Rafael Leao.
Liao, I'm not a fan of. You know,
Mm.
but I think if Arsenal are going to do it, it has to be the right player. And I really don't want to just see us go out and buy a left winger for the sake of it. I
Yeah,
would rather see an attacker coming in a different position if need be, and we have to try and scrape through on that left hand side. But ideally, it's the left hand side, and we get that right player because I think there are one or two options out there. But Berta is in a position now, similar with the defender, where he now needs to make decisions. Now he's a very good director of football, but he has to decide this is my target, and I'm going after him now, whoever it is, and I'm going after it now because we are at the tail end of this window. I think it's going to be a very, very busy last 2 weeks of the window,
yeah,
and that left winger is the top priority. And for me, it's Yildiz. It
yeah.
really is.
Yeah, and someone was telling me that after all this, we'll end up getting Rashford on loan on the deadline day.
you see, Enigma. Dom just made a point that for now, I'm starting to have those thoughts. You know, when you don't close your deals very early, and
Yeah,
it gets to squeaky bum time, like a week or 2 weeks to the end, you could end up just buying someone for the sake of buying it
yeah,
because you want to please the fans. I don't want us to get to that stage. We're getting there now. You know, you can see now they are peddling names like, oh, is it Bacola? Is it Yildiz? We're not even sure. I don't think we're speaking with authority that this is what we want. I just want us to start doing our procurement differently because we're now the champions of England. We want to be competing at the highest top. That so before 4 weeks, 5 weeks, we've identified the target, we've closed the deal. Go and negotiate. Yeah, Bacola 140. Go there, negotiate, close the deal. We can't be waiting for a week. I just want us to change that kind of direction. We are still looking
yeah,
at ourselves like that struggling Arsenal to come. We're now champions of England. We should procure with authority. Authority.
yeah.
We want this. We get it. Bang. We close the deal. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
don't close the deal, if it gets to a week, 2 weeks before the window closes, then you now start getting to squeaky bum time. Any name that comes, oh, Rafael, you start looking for because
Yeah,
for me, when I saw Zolis, same chorus. I just thought he was a squad player, even though, like we said, we've not seen him completely. We don't know. Maybe he's going to stand up now with authority and prove us wrong. But on paper, he's a squad player. So
yeah. I
let's
agree.
go after that left wing, central defense. That too, we need to sort it out. Really,
I
we need.
agree. I agree.
I,
Because
I mean,
go
sorry,
ahead,
AT.
Dom. No,
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 go
no.
ahead.
Sorry.
No, no, but
Carry on.
I was about to say just how Madrid went for Diomande. They were not taking any prisoners. They just went for their guy and just
No,
got
no.
it done.
So Enigma. So that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
When you get to that pedigree, that's how you do your procurements. You don't. Arsenal is linked with this, linked with that. It's just the grapevine. You're no more in the grapevine. You go with
yeah,
authority, close your deal, move forward. That's the level we are now. We need to start imbibing that. That's our
yeah,
level.
yeah.
We can't go
And
back there.
it
Also,
was so
all the grapevine gist needs to stop.
yeah, and it
We
was so
want
funny
a player
because it
we know.
actually led to some problem between Fabrizio Romano and Pletigo. Like when Leipzig said, "Here we finally go," that was just like a mad diss at him, man. I don't go ahead. Let's see something.
Oh, I was just going to say sort of two things. One, Rashford on loan. Obviously, no one wants Rashford. I'm fine if we bring in. I'm fine if we bring in a left winger on loan because we can't find the right one. Because I think we need to bring someone in. But if it is Rashford, just for example, it has to be. We have to get a high-profile player in. And if you said, right, we can't get our left winger this year that we want, we're actually going to go after one next summer. So we got Rashford on loan, but we brought in Victor Osimhen. As an example, you're kind of okay with that. But as I say, ideally you want that permanent left winger, and you don't. I don't. By the way, I'm not advocating for Rashford. I'm just using it as an example,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah,
if you because as I said, you don't want the wrong player that you're lumbered with. As Jay says there, I think it's really imperative that you go and now do this business. What I would say about all these things, we know Berta operates in this way where he talks to lots of players, gets an idea so he can put together his board. And he showed last year that he is really capable of pulling the trigger when he wants to. The concern I have at the moment is we're not. And is that because Arsenal not sure who they do want? That's what's concerning me. about it. But also, what we do have to remember when we see all these things is we're Arsenal fans, so we see all the noise. But there's lots of players being linked with lots of other clubs as well that we don't necessarily notice to the same extent. And deals taking time to get done at other clubs too, because they, we don't follow them as closely. But his general point is right that we're at decision making time now, and we have to decide our target and go all in on them because we are, as he rightly says, champions of England, and we need to get these guys over the line now.
Okay, awesome. So now let's just quickly touch on Man City squad. Obviously, Umar Mamouche has been the one that has been scoring most of the goals. Haaland hasn't really been playing yet because he's been on vacation. But Josh, Antoine Semenyo has been like their key player, 5 assists so far in preseason. We all know how he did well at Bournemouth instead of last season and came from January and continued doing well. So, how big of a threat is he going to be on Sunday against us?
Oh, I rate him very highly, man. I was gutted that he went Man City personally in that January window. I would have loved him at Arsenal, both footed as well, can play both sides, unpredictable. He's just, I remember in the League Cup final at times, at the start, I think a few moments, he's always a tricky player to deal with, got pace about him. I said very unpredictable. He could be very direct at times. He's been a brilliant signing for Manchester City. What they did in January to sign him and Gueye, I think was brilliant bit of business for them. So, and as you say right there, he's continuing that form as well. But I think both their winners, if Doku's back, I was really impressed with Doku second half of the season actually as well. I think he really started to pick up his form again. Scored some the goal against Everton to give them a bit when they 3-2 down. He got them back in that one, and I was like that second half of the season he was really really on it as well. So I think they got really. Both their winners, and then the guy in the picture as well. Maybe it won't be Haaland, maybe it will be Omar Mamouche. And again, he's looking quite good in pre-season. So definitely have that attack that on, because me and Don were saying this yesterday as well. Like the way how they approach, we expect them to have the ball, like they did against us majority of games last season. So when they're on the transitions, it's we have to be careful, man. And again, it's that concern about we ain't got Saliba there. And Gabriel, that partnership's not there. We haven't got Jury and Timber right back. So the players that are going to have to come in, Mosquera needs to have that. If it is going to be most likely Mosquera, that same level performance that he did against PSG. Again, he gave away the penalty, but that was it really. His overall performance was immense in my opinion. And you're up against the best left winner in world football in Kvaratskhelia. And I think he really held his own. So this is the type of level. I know it's Community Shield, but again, if we talk about how the game's going to go, we need Mosquera, and if it's going to be Ben White, we also need Ben White and whoever plays left back as well. It'd be very interesting to see what he does do, whether it's in Cape or Kala up against the menu.
Awesome. So Dom, let's just talk about one quote that has been making the rounds. Maresca said he has 3 pillars for the new campaign: Guardiola, Haaland, and Foden. Phil Foden is someone that just 2 campaigns ago he was the player of the year in the Premier League, 19 goals, 11 assists. But the last 2 seasons have been so bad that he even missed the World Cup. Do you think this game will be like a yardstick for him to improve on? And what's your take on the performances this season? We decided with the threat of Ryan Cherki around him.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to step up. He's got the competition right from Ryan Cherki. We'll see how he goes. I think Foden's a very good player. I don't think he's ever going to be in the top bracket. But he's shown his quality for City in the past. I'm not sure I'd call him the killer there. I think if I'm looking through that team, I'm looking at Gvardiol, I'm looking at Haaland, and I'm looking at Semenyo as their top 3. Obviously, I've discounted Rodri because I think he's going.
Mm-hmm.
But if obviously Rodri would be the third of those, instead of Semenyo if he was staying. So it'd be interesting to see there. But as Josh said, I think that transition will be critical because I think Marmouche will start tomorrow because Haaland hasn't played in pre-season, but you never know. But this game for me is won or lost in the central midfield. I think Arsenal, as I was touching on earlier, central midfield will be more solid. I expect it'll be Bruno and Miles together, and I think that is more solid. I think that protects the back 4, and that might help us sort of prevent some of that transition from City. But I think Arsenal will need to be quick in transition themselves. And need to be aggressive themselves in a way that, again, Josh and I were talking about this yesterday. They looked a little bit scared in that, League Cup final. The pressure was on. The pressure's not on in this one. You know, it's not a major final or anything like that. Yeah, it's a trophy, but it's very much the unimportant trophy where you win it, you don't start screaming the place down like when you win the Premier League, and if you lose it, you're not crying like you've lost the Champions League. But you know, it is an opportunity to get one over on the board, and Arsenal need to play like they are champions of England, and crucially, you know, get one over on Maresca in his first game. I think that could be crucial because, as Josh pointed out to me yesterday, we didn't beat City last season, so let's go and stamp our authority early in this game. I think that arguably more important than anything else. But that central midfield is where this game is won or lost, and Arsenal with Bruno should be able to shut down Phil Foden in those central areas.
Awesome. So, Jide, who do you think is going to pick up the mantle that has been dropped by Bernardo Silva leaving the club?
Okay.
Not Reinders.
I don't even know what's going on in their midfield today. I know they have Nico Gonzalez.
Mm-hmm.
I know they still have Kova, but I'm not sure how much he's going to play. But the guy from Nottingham Forest,
Anderson.
Yeah, Anderson looks like a Rodri replacement. Even though I don't know how you want to replace the pillar of a building. You know, Rodri is like the pillar. So how you're going to replace that? It's a different discussion. So hopefully Anderson can come through. But you know, for me, a football match really, if you want to start looking at the stats, even though all the stats will fly through the window during the 90 minutes, the key battles should be in the midfield. And right now, with Bruno, Declan, maybe Odegaard or MLS, I don't think they can match us pound for pound in the midfield right now. And that's where the key battle is going to happen. So for me, I don't know. Maybe they come with Nico Gonzalez. Maybe Kova plays. Maybe Anderson comes in. If we're talking about midfield, confidently, I can say we are going to outclass them in the midfield. It's just their front four that we know is going to be dangerous, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Doku, Semenyo, and I'm one of Foden's fans. I still believe if you put that guy in a football match, he can overturn you dangerously at any point. I don't think Foden was a bad player. I think he just fell into Pep's greatness of tinker roses. I want to play this today. I want to play that. You know, Pep can overthink because there was a season. What's his name? He won the best. It was
Player of the year. PFA player of the year.
Yeah, it was all over. He was shining. And all of a sudden, he plays today. He's on the bench tomorrow. I don't think we can judge him with Pep's. Pep's
tinkering.
He's tinkering. Pep's tinker rose. Although we can't call it short because he's winning with it. 10 seasons we saw what he was doing with it. But I think he fell into that situation. I don't think he's a bad player. So if Maresca is coming today and say, "Hey, I have Foden," we can't call it off. The front four, they are going to be dangerous, but midfield, we're going to take care of them at that point. So if it's midfield you are talking from, we hold the aces in the midfield right now. In fact, for me, with Bruno and Declan fit all the time, I don't know, because sometimes I've watched Newcastle play a lot of times, and I won't lie to you, I've seen Bruno G play a lot. That guy on the field is
warrior,
like
man.
He's a warrior. That's just it. He's a warrior. So with that and Declan, I don't know who is going to. I don't know. I'm thinking positively because it's something we've seen. Declan is like, if he can play 240 minutes, now you put another warrior beside him. So when you have those two in the trenches, we'll do a lot in the midfield. So I don't think they will class us in the midfield, but the front four, it's there for the taking.
Awesome. So, Josh, let's talk about the injury and suspension news. So, clearly, for injuries on the Arsenal side, of course, we have Julian Timber, who is still struggling with his groin injury. To think that this thing happened since March, and he didn't play basically up until Champions League final, where he aggravated it and, of course, missed the World Cup. And, of course, we have Saliba that also played a couple of games in the World Cup. This back injury has been lingering since Bournemouth, Over to Man City, of course, you have Rodri that has a knock. We have Jack Grealish, who was while they were still at Everton. He's not still back. I think Savinho is also having a knock as well. So, I mean, you need to now factor the guy that just came in from the World Cup. So, how is Arsenal and Man City going to cope with these injury challenges? In your own opinion?
I think the game overall, if you look at, I mean, with Manchester City, they're in a very similar situation as we are in terms of they have a lot of players on the way back. Not even had a preseason game, Erling Haaland, I saw pictures of him just return back to training a few days ago. Is he going to be thrown in the deep end straight away and start the game? I don't think so. I'll be surprised. I think they go on Marmoush, so he's a massive miss. Even if he's on the bench, he's on the bench, but. Even like Doku, for example, same situation with him. He's not played the preseason with them. Mark Gahey, O'Reilly, so they have some of their main guys. Yeah, Elliot Anderson as well. Yeah. Then even he's came similar situation, and this same for Arsenal as well. We've had a whole list of players, as we know. I did hear what Arteta said today in the press conference that Zubimendi, Rice, and Saka all have been training and they will be available. I think you said it yesterday, Dom. You'll be bringing maybe Rice off the bench, 60-minute maybe. And I think that's probably the best thing to do, instead of starting them. But with not having these main players, I said it yesterday as well, AZ, I think it sort of feel a bit pre-season-ish because neither team have their main guys starting like they would do in the Premier League game, right?
Competitive game, yeah.
Competitive game. So it could still feel that vibe. But yeah, to answer your question, how do we cope with the injuries? I think with you spoke about that with the defensive, with the Saliba one, what we got to do there in that situation as well. And then again, it's I'm trying to think who else. Yeah, it's really those two. Those are the main ones that concern me the most. Is the Timber one and the Saliba one. Anyone else? Remind me who else is injured?
Just Louis Copley, the youngster that did his ACL.
Yeah, Louis Copley.
Against Dortmund. No, against Betis.
It's horrible for him, man. I know him as well. Like, I went to school with him, secondary school with him. He went to my secondary school.
Oh, wow, nice.
I'm obviously very happy for him to be in the Arsenal team, but then to get that injury is horrible, man.
Especially to such a young kid, I think such a great experience to be with the first team and what have you.
No, and he just came on as a sub. That was also sad.
Yeah, it's a shame, man. Speedy recovery.
All right, man. So we have Farouk on the chat. Big ups, bro. So let's look at the latest results from both sides. Obviously, as this all the way back to the Champions League final, last 5 games, the 1-1 draw with PSG, where Gabriel played the ball that kind of killed an astronaut in the moon. And of course, we had the Girona game where we actually played very well. Zolis and Dama were like on fire in that game. Love the blue kit as well. So awesome. Then of course the Betis game where Kepa just for the life of me, I don't know what was happening that day. The Dortmund game, I was quite concerned with being defended as well. Then that goal from Baturina against Como, that was and it was a terrible goal to concede. But if you're a neutral watching that, the way he just went past Dauman and Julien, and of course, we kept in goal. I wasn't expecting much. So that's just it from our side. But for Man City, of course, the game against Bournemouth, where Krupi did the Lord's work, to win us the Premier League. The Aston Villa game, they didn't really care. The league was already done. So Pep's final game was just, a glorified friendly. When preseason, they've had a 1-1 draw with Inter, defeated the Korea All-Stars 3-1, and Atletico Madrid 3-1. So looking at this, Dom, is it fair to say that Man City is in better form than us, or did you feel just general preseason vibes?
I mean, like we said earlier, look, both sides coming into this undercooked. Don't really know where the sides are at. Lots of fitness work still to be done. Lots of players to come back. They're going to have to get up to form. I don't really read too much into this. I think it's what makes it impossible to sort of say what that lineup's going to be and make a score prediction really hard. Excuse me. Sorry, I was trying to get through that yawn without yawning, but I couldn't manage that. But hopefully it won't be a snooze fest on Sunday, eh? Yeah, no. I mean, I'm not too worried about this. These results. I think the big thing really is Arsenal need to sort of be better in those defensive areas and be more clinical in those attacking areas. But I think defensively we're being more solid, but the preseason results don't bother me. I know we went into collective meltdown when we lost 2 in a row, but we lost 2 in a row last season and won the league. So, I
Yeah,
really
true,
don't care.
true,
And
true.
this is such a weird one with them all coming back late. I genuinely think in the first 4 to 5 weeks, it wouldn't shock me if we saw someone like, I don't know, Spurs top of the league because they haven't had anyone at the World Cup. Some random side. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but my point really is I would expect the likes of Arsenal, Manchester City, Liverpool, all these sides that have had players go so deep in the tournament, struggling in those early weeks while they try and find some rhythm and fitness.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, guys. So Jude, this the predicted lineup I've put. Obviously, I'll get your take. I'll get Josh and Dom as well. So what I've done so far, I put Raya
He
in
was
goal.
listening yesterday, Josh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're very similar. I think you got the exact same, apart from I went Martinelli over Zolis, but that I think that was it.
He's gone with my team.
Yeah, he's gone with your team. Yeah,
He's gone with my team.
Yeah. So this is what I'm gonna go with. So Jude, looking at this lineup, is there anyone you're gonna change from here on the
Nope,
Arsenal
I
line?
went with your team.
No, back four. I don't think we can see something else. Raya coming in sure. Odegaard, is he ready? I think so. Guimaraes is just a must. MLS, I think he deserves to be in that team for now. So these three midfield, I'll take it, and I'll keep Declan on the bench. Really. Then the front three, I think you're spot on with these predicted lineups. Really, I
Whoop,
think you're.
whoop, whoop. Okay, so Josh, what's your justification for Martinelli over Zolis?
Because I went in Capier left back with Kala. So no, sorry, I went in Capier over Kala, and then I went. To be honest, it's toss up between the two, but I thought Zolis and Thomas.
I actually have one change to this side. I've just remembered it, Josh.
Go on.
But go on, carry on.
Yeah, I was. Dom was telling me like he would go with Zolis because of the preseason form that he had over Martinelli.
Yeah.
But I just went. I was looking at it thinking in Arteta's mind what he would do, and I got a feeling Martinelli may play because also I think important in the transitions as well. If they are, he'll be up against Nunes, right? Look, he's been solid, Nunes, but I think if we get space in behind, we know that's where Martinelli can thrive the most. Is when teams don't play congested against him. That's where he really struggles. So I think on the transitions is a big reason I'd say with Martinelli. But to be honest,
it's defensive work rate, isn't it, Josh? Just that it was a big part of your thinking there, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the defensive side of it as well. That's why I went in Capia over Kala, because we know Kala bombs forwards and he could be a big thing going forward. But what about defensively? And also for me, the left side against Dortmund, when we played Dortmund, it was Zolis was working so hard up and down, but he couldn't keep doing it because we had Kala, and Kala didn't look as sharp as he did last season. Again, his fitness and things like this. But if you look at where Dortmund's goal came, two of their goals came from, I think it was on that side.
It was down that side, yeah.
Down that side. So I'm thinking you have Nkapie left back, right? You know, he's very, very, we know he could be a stud, very solid. And then you have Martinelli on transitions, and then Zolis off the bench in the second half.
Okay, fair enough. So
my one change, AT, I just remembered as Josh was talking, I actually think it's Nkapie at left back with Zolis, because Zolis doesn't offer that defensive. I don't think he'll be able to do that defensive work the whole way through. So I actually had Nkapie and Zolis as the left-hand side, because I think that gives you the defensive solidity. And I think Calafiori and Martinelli are the pairing. If you go with Martinelli, it's Calafiori at left back, because then you've got the defense. Calafiori is protected slightly by Martinelli, and you get some of that attacking output. So I think I think that I don't know which one of those two pairings he's going to go for, but that for me is how I would pair them.
Okay, awesome. So
for my question, sorry, Adipa,
go ahead.
One quick question to Josh and Dom. Who is our left back, Kala or Nkapie?
I think it's a cop-out answer, but it's similar to how I answer it about who starts in attack. I think it depends on your opposition. If you're up against Elise, I'm 100% having Nkapie. And I also think it depends on who you've got ahead of him as well on that left wing. Because I think you need the partnership there. I was talking about it last season with I don't necessarily like Calla and White unless there's a lot of space in behind the fullbacks. If you've got a back five with wing backs, then maybe you do because they both like to get forward. I think it's about the balance. So I don't think there is a starting left back. I think both are very capable and offer very different styles. But Josh, I don't know if you have a different view.
I echo that. I also think quite clearly, Jay, Arteta is a massive fan of Calla at left back, as playing left back, because when he plays for Italy, the national team, he's centre back. He's naturally a centre back, right? But we've only seen him play there twice at Arsenal. I'm pretty sure a handful of occasions. He's not played there enough. And even when Lewis Skelly came in that season and he was fantastic, right, at left back, he only came in really because Calla was injured, wasn't he? Right, we had no Calla. So as soon as he comes back, Calla's straight back in the team. So I think Arteta is really really obsessed with playing Calla as a left back.
I love him as a left back. I remember discussing this with you at the time because you rightly said he's a natural centre back, and that's where you were a bit confused by us. Well, it allows him some license to do those crazy things going forward. He does, and provide some unpredictability, which I think is what Arteta loves about him. Do you remember his answer last season with Calla? And he basically said he plays everywhere.
Yeah.
Our agent of chaos.
Yeah.
So
and it's not left back.
Yeah, crazy.
I don't know why. I just for me, I don't know why. I just think Nkapie fits that spot. I know we have to achieve a balance, but if we look at all the elements that we need to put together to achieve that balance on a scale of 10, I'll pick Nkapie for left back anytime. I know we need to achieve a balance. There's a different opposition. There's a different tactical play we need to apply. But who should be your number one? For me, it's a question that I don't think Arsenal has answered, because today you see Calla, I think it's Nkapie. I want that question to be answered in the first 5 weeks. I let Arteta come out clearly, I'm sure, as who is that left back. I think it's Nkapie. When you put that, Calla, you don't know what you expect from him going forward. There's a lot he puts into the game. But like I said, it's a solid defense that wins you the league. I'm not saying Nkapie is very bad going forward. He's not up to Calla going forward. But if we look at all other elements,
he's still decent.
It's decent. That's what I heard.
He has a good cross on him as well.
Yeah, it's decent. So if you look at all the elements, it doesn't fall too short for us to say he's our number one. I would love to have that question answered by Arteta, though.
All right, so let's hear from you guys your key tactical battles. Starting with you, Josh, where do you think will be the biggest part of good teams when fighting tactically?
I think Dom said it earlier. The midfield, obviously, and when we did looking at the Man City lineup, who did you go? Just can you quickly go slide back? Who did you go in the midfield for City?
Yeah, I did. Kovacic, Gonzalez, and Foden.
If we have Bruno G and even Lewis Skelly in that midfield, then
we should cakewalk those two.
Yeah, we should.
That's a key battle there as well.
I think that's going to have to be there too, because Anderson hasn't played. Rodri flew back on EasyJet yesterday to Manchester, and you've got to worry about his frame of mind. I mean, he's a professional, right? I mean, he'll go out and do his job. Maybe one of those two starts out of needs, because
with Renders about to leave, you have to also bench him or keep him out of the squad as well, so you don't get injured. Yeah, so but Jude, what's your take on Max Darman against Aït-Nouri and Guardiola on that wing? Do you think, because I think the game against Como, I think he held on the ball a bit too much. Do you think he's gonna play a bit better? Because when Madueke came, it was back to his frustrating best.
So if you on the balance of the situation we're in right now, Saka just coming back, Madueke just coming back, I will start Dauman, definitely, on the balance of the situation we are in now. But when the team gets up to speed, I think we still need to manage his minutes. How he comes in, because he's just a 16, 17-year-old.
100%.
And Arteta did that very well last season. He needs to continue to. The talent is there, but we need to manage how we just bring him into the team so that we can transition into him becoming that guy, that main man for that side. But now, as he showed promise, it's clear as daylight. So for now, he should take that wing on Sunday.
Awesome. All right, so let's go to our match predictions. I'll start with you, Josh. So typically, you tell me the scoreline and who would score as well.
I'll see what I go with yesterday. I'm gonna go 1-0 to Arsenal. I think we'll get. I'm gonna go set piece. 1-0 set piece.
From who?
Who's gonna score?
Gabriel.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but most likely. I'm gonna go off the bench. Mikel Merino wins this again.
Nice. Dom?
Cinderella bad.
I had 2-1 Arsenal. I don't think, and Jay was mentioning the defences earlier, I don't think either side keeps a clean sheet here unless both attacks are awful, because I think when sides are undercooked and struggling for fitness, and we're going to see a lot of subs, I think that will impact the balance of the sides a little bit. It's where concentration starts to go and mistakes start to happen. So I'm going 2-1. I'm going to have Solis getting one. And I'm not going to have a set piece. I'm going to have Miles Lewis Skelly getting one.
Okay.
Or one of those centre midfielders. I think one of those centre midfielders scores for Arsenal tomorrow.
Okay. And who will score for City?
Kepa and goal. No. I think for City it'll be Semenyo. I think he's going to be a real nuisance. And
awesome. Jay?
I'll do 2-1. I don't think we keep a clean sheet. That's being honest, because we can't read too much into preseason, but the discussion is that let's don't live in denial. I don't think we're going to keep a clean sheet. The discussion about that defense is that. But I think we win 2-1. I think we win 2-1. I think I wish Bruno G scores the second goal. I think Zoli's the first goal. I believe Alan comes in second half and scores their goal.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that brings us to the end of today's stream. It's been fun having this touch with you guys about the game. So let's just go around the room. Dom, obviously, we just got your last shots about, Martinelli rejecting Galatasaray. I guess we expect so much more from you in the course of the week. Tell us about Arsenal domination.
Well, there's a lovely preview out on some channel called True Gooner about the Community Shield that I'm sure Josh will talk about. But I'll be live on Tuesday with Footy Corner. I think I'll talk about how difficult I think the start of the season is going to be for Arsenal and other clubs. I'll probably have a wider long-form video on Premier League predictions and what have you, preview into the Coventry game, reaction to the Community Shield, and anything we do transfer-wise. So week coming up.
Awesome. Josh, 29K subs and counting. Awesome work, bro. So what should we expect from True Gooner in the next couple of weeks?
50,000,
man. Oh, mate, I wish. Nah, that'd be great. Look, I try to do it every single day, man. Every single day I put a live stream, whether it's news. Did a little press conference reaction today, so I brought them back as well, going through the quotes of Arteta. Watch-alongs as well. Gonna try and do every game, not just for the men's. I do women's team as well. So they'll be back.
Awesome work, man. Awesome work. I'm going to put your channels on the description as well. Arsenal domination, True Gooner. So, Juno, are you in the YouTube space yet?
Not really. I'm still a guest.
But we really enjoyed cooking with you, bro. Awesome, and thanks for coming around.
Same here. I think the Arsenal spirit and the discussion was worth having, and very blunt. Dom, very blunt. I like Josh as well. So please send the YouTube channel so I can check it out.
Yeah, for sure. I will do that.
Yeah, I'm a guest and I can listen to YouTube most times, so I'll be there.
Thanks, man.
Awesome.
And by the way, at least wear an Arsenal shirt. Josh, we're letting the side down.
Yeah, we are, man. We are.
Oh, say that again. I didn't get you, Dom. Say that again.
He said you guys are wearing the shirts and we're
at
not.
Least you and I...
Oh, okay. What can we do? We always buy the match.
and it's even Champions League too, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we always buy the match. We believe.
Yeah.
Arsenal. Yeah.
All right, guys. So thank you so much for tonight's stream.
I
Looking
can't
forward to
believe.
seeing you guys in the
Sorry,
future.
AT. I can't believe I'm about to say this, given where you guys are, but it's too hot for me to wear the shirt today. It's absolutely fucking roasted, but it's probably hot where you
Oh
guys
yeah,
are.
yeah. The
True.
whole heat wave here in the UK. So sorry about that,
Yeah,
guys, man.
exactly.
So sorry
You
about
guys
that.
are you guys are right in it. Yeah.
So I'm gonna post your channels on the chat as well. Okay, I see Farouk is asking about that. Good to know. So don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, come on, you gunners, man.
All right.
Cheers,
Cheers, guys.
AT. Cheers, guys.